The website is evolving and our brains are absolutely melting. We live in information overload. Just too many apps, too many sources of content, too many emails, too much information. And it's time that our web designs and our websites actually get simplified and not complicated. The ABG portal is a dynamic website that's built like a web app without actually needing a web app. It is built with efficiency, marketing, and management as its primary focus, and you can really quickly build landing pages, sales funnels, management systems, all for free on WordPress Full Site Editor. I build all my stuff with WordPress Full Site Editing. It is the most cost efficient, lightweight, and easy to duplicate method I have found. In this video, I'm going to show you block pattern basics, just how easy it is to make a block pattern, and then this can be duplicated in other places. I'm going to explain to you some marketing basics so that you understand what's supposed to go on your page, where it's supposed to go on your page. I'm going to teach you how to make some really easy animations, how to add them into your block patterns, and I'm going to show you how to access the built-in block patterns so that you don't even have to waste your time. You can start with a pre-built block pattern, modify it, make it your own. My name is Josh. I am the owner of ABG Marketing and Design, and I'm here to kind of help bridge the gap between technical skills and marketing knowledge. And I do this by both explaining some information to you and showing you the actual technical skills in WordPress for how to build these things yourself. And you'll see it's really not difficult. Before I jump into WordPress and show you some of the technical skills, I really need you to understand some marketing basics, okay? And once you see these things, you cannot unsee them. I read .com Secrets from Russell Brunson, and he just basically explained a beautiful template that just made sense to me right away. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You see just how often it's used all over the place in marketing. And the template is this: hook, story, offer. Your hook is often a headline, but if it's a YouTube video or YouTube short, it all often comes with the thumbnail as well. But you have to think about this. And when you look around, you see them everywhere. There's hooks and headlines. There's the story piece. This is where a good storyteller will always have people engaged. And what that really means is your copywriting, so your paragraph text, your bullet copy, what you're showing on your website should connect with the target audience. It should be done in a specific way so that you're giving value, you're showing value, you're solving someone's problems, you're making their life better. The target audience is connecting with what you're saying, and they're leaning into buying a product from you or coming to you to do business with you. And the last thing, the offer, that's the whole point of a website or a YouTube video or a social media post. You actually have to drive them somewhere, an offer, which is usually a call to action. So for a website, what we really need to be able to do is make headlines. We need to be able to add copywriting, paragraph, bullet copy, and we need to be able to add an image so that we can, have some simple branding or show some products and show some services. And a CTA, call to action, is usually just a button. Okay, that's it. Those things can be rearranged into block patterns. The block patterns will serve a specific purpose. For example, you want to have a good hero section. Every website should start with a hero section. Our brains are melting. Your over-the-top design doesn't matter. Get some simple contrast going, get a nice little animation going, get a good hook or headline going. Start to connect with that target audience and always push them into that CTA or call to action. So if you're a personal brand, your CTA might be, hey, reach out for a free consultation. If you're an online store, your CTA would be a featured product or click to go to the shop to actually shop. Okay, if you're a service-based company, your CTA would be, hey, go ahead and book a consultation call or a consultation where I'll come by, I'll check out your house, and I will explain how my service can help you. Okay, Again, once you see these things, you cannot unsee them. And I really need you to understand that so that when you jump into learning WordPress, what you say, how you say it, and where you say it is actually much more important than an over the top, fancy design website. People have no patience anymore. Get straight to the point, make your web design simple, easy to navigate, easy to read, and efficient. And that's all you need to be able to do. And I teach you how to do all of it from WordPress full site editing. I host myself on Hostinger, and I am able to build hundreds of websites for next to no money. If you're interested in learning more about WordPress, more about marketing, more about how to build your own things for as affordable as possible, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and reach out. I'd love to help you guys. Always be grinding and enjoy the WordPress tutorial. You can just see how with just a couple of properties, you're able to adjust quite a few things. It's really intuitive once you get started, and nothing is cheaper. Do not get hosed on a website builder that's just going to be very similar to this, drag and drop. Even a website builder requires you to learn some skills. Start this video off with a nicotine pouch, boys. All right, let's get into it. So, first things first, I want to show you a little bit about WordPress, okay? Now, look, you do not need a website builder because WordPress full site editing is just as good, and it's by far the cheapest way to be building these websites. So some of you may be new to this, so I just want to go over the basics. This middle is the preview window. So this is going to give you, what your website's going to ultimately look like. Now I've already got some content preloaded in here. Off to the left here, this is going to be your layout. These are your blocks, and you can see that they're nested. So I've got a stack layout built, and within the stack, so see how you can kind of hide it, I have got some headlines, a paragraph text, and then another headline there. So you can easily click between any of the content that you've built on your page on this left side. Middle is preview, and off to the right will be your properties. This is more for the designing part, and this is going to be just more of a general video. I will show you later in the video just how easy it is to actually design and style things up nicely. But this is what you want to get comfortable with. Layout on the left, preview in the middle, properties on the right. So I could click into this stack, and then off to the right in my properties, I could change some styles. For example, I could really quickly change the background image or the background to be a different color. So again, with designs, you just want simple contrast. You want good copywriting, and what you say, how you say it, and where you say it is by far more important than some fancy design. So let's just remove this and go back to the white background. So I'm going to show you the basics of block patterns, how you can build them yourselves, how you can load in pre-built block patterns, and then how you can modify them and ultimately reuse only a couple of block patterns through your entire website. Before we get going, I've already done the initial setup on this website. On the previous videos, I show how to actually set up the header and footer, how to load in your media, how to change the colors and stuff like that. That can be done on a different video, or you can look back. I want to focus on the block patterns. The entire purpose of marketing is to have an offer or a CTA, a call to action. So I'm going to show you how to build the most general layouts that put these in place, and then I'll show you how to kind of modify them, and before you know it, you'll be building really nice designs. So the first thing I want to show you is a stack layout. The reality is the majority of people are visiting web pages on their phone. The stack layout is perfect for making sure your designs look good on a phone. So what I'm going to show you is how to add this stack layout. So you can go, you see again on the left, you can see I've got that one selected, or you can just click right in the preview, and I'm going to say add after. Now to add a block, two ways to do this. One is you click the plus button, block inserter. You could click it and you can scroll through. These blue ones are from the Greenshift plugin. I'll show you them a little bit later. But if you scroll down, you've just got a whole bunch of blocks that you can put in. You'll end up seeing that you really only need a couple. This list, a heading, a paragraph, maybe a table. But the biggest thing that you want to do is actually handle the layout block first. It's important to do that for future customizations. So I know the shortcut way. If I just go slash, and then it gives you some short code, and I type slash stack, it's going to add a stack to my page. Now I have some quick options here. Do I want to set this to full width? Or do I want to set this to, a little bit smaller? For simple contrast, this is really easy to adjust. So let's just for now go full width. And then you can see again within the stack, and let me go back to, let me get out of here. We go back to that visual here. So now see, I already had a stack to start. I've added a second stack. Now I can start to add blocks within this stack. Every single website should start with a hero section, which should start with a really good hook or headline. So same thing here. I can click the plus and I can just add a heading. I want to center this heading. And I want to make it an H1. Now, you'll notice that even though I said I want to center the heading, it didn't get centered because on my stack, I could set the entire stack to center, and then it'll center everything like that. So this would be where you have your hook / headline, and depending on what your business is or your website is, this is obviously going to come down to copywriting. I'm not going to focus too much on that in this video, just how to build the actual blocks. So now I can just again add after. This is where you're going to want to tell your story or have some detailed copywriting. By default, look what happens, it's a paragraph. So you could just use paragraph text to write some focused copywriting, or what you could often do, again, I will just add enter. So you could go / and add a list. So this would be for like bullet copy points, bullet copy 2, you get the idea. Usually you want to have some simple branding. So that's just an image. So I'm going to / image this. I've got media already loaded in here. So let's just grab my ABG logo. Notice how it's massive, and maybe we don't want it massive. Properties are on the right. So I can just quickly say, like, I don't want this resolution to be large. I want it to be medium, and it makes it much smaller. And then I am going to go after one more time, and this is for my CTA, which is just the button. So I type / buttons. There's a nice button, and then I can say my CTA or call to action. So if you're building a store, for example, you want to have a good hook or headline about what your store represents, what it offers. You want to have some good copy about how you can help the person, why they should buy that product from you. You don't have to have an image of your logo. You could have an image of your logo and a featured product, and then your call to action would probably be to go to the store. But it's easily modifiable for a personal brand, a simple landing page, a sales funnel. It really doesn't matter. So this is your basic stack layout. Now, again, I'm going to go in here and show you a couple things that we can adjust for properties and how easy it is to make this look pretty darn good. Properties on the right, I'm going to go to the styles. I'm just going to change a few things. Like I want some padding here. So I want my padding at the top and bottom. Maybe I want some padding on the left and right. I want my block spacing to be smaller. So see how you can adjust how it's spaced out just from clicking. And you can do, because you've chosen a stack, you can do extra customizations by just changing borders and changing background. So I could add a border here if I wanted, a black border, and you can see now it's got a box, and I could round that if I wanted. So you can all of a sudden, just by playing around with the border and the corner rounding, you can get some pretty unique, nice little layouts going on here like that. You want to change the background, you go up to the background, and you go ahead and change that background color. Okay? Super easy, super straightforward to do. This is the most standard layout that I suggest. Just a stack. It's going to look good on phone. It's going to look good on a computer. The problem with the computer is it might be too vertically squished together, and that's where the second layout comes into play, okay? Which is going to be a column layout. So this is going to set up your page into columns. The beauty of columns is they will stack on mobile, or you can at least toggle that. So we're going to do the same thing under the toggle. And again, you can see everything's building on my left here. I can hide this. I'm going to go under my column. I could do it here, and I could say add after. And now I'm going to go / columns. I can select what I want. You know, do I want a 50-50? Do I want it offset? Do I want 3? Let's just go with 2 columns for now. And again, the same thing can happen where maybe on the left, I want a heading. So this would be my hook / headline. You could put underneath it, maybe just some paragraph text / copywriting. Maybe then after that, you want to put the bullet copy if you wish. Bullet 1, bullet 2. And then maybe over in the other column, this is where you want your image to display, a fancier image or just simple branding. And again, within the columns, I can choose to align them to the middle. I could choose to align this to the middle, and then I could pop my image in over here. We'll do the exact same thing I just showed you. Again, if you want to change the size of that image, you can. And now all of a sudden, I've got a column layout. Couple of things that you can do with the column layout is change the background of the columns or change the background of each individual column. Properties on the right. I could add a border around the whole thing. Looks like that. Maybe I want a little more padding to space things out a little bit. Maybe I want some block spacing so I can have some spacing between my blocks. And I could do the same thing under each column. I could come in here and add a simple border, and I could add a simple border. Okay, so you can play around with what looks good, what doesn't look good. Let's just back out of a couple of these things. Let's just do it like this. So this is just a simple column. Now over here you see, again in the properties, I can change really quickly. Oh, maybe I want like a third column. It's going to add a third column, and this will stack on mobile. So this is going to set up a design that's a little bit wider, nicer to look at on a computer, but then will stack up nicely on mobile. With my columns, I can again change it to be full width, wide width, or just smaller. Okay, and then now if you wanted to put a button off to the side here, you could, or if you want to put a button lower, you could as well. But often I like to put the two together. So what you could do here is I'll add after. I'll add a stack. And what I'm going to do is add a call to action. So that's just my buttons. CTA. Let's center that. Let's make sure it's centered in my stack. Okay, so I've got a CTA, and now I could actually just drag this entire column up into the stack, and I can mix the two together. So you want to make sure over here I have got, you can see it's not, oh, hold on here. Did it just move? Where's my stack? Okay, it just moved. So what do we want to do this time? Let's just add after. And let's move this lower. And then we're going to drag my columns into that stack. Okay, and now what I've got is again off to the left, I've got a stack. Inside of the stack, I have my columns. And now I can center my CTA. Maybe I don't want this hook or headline in the column like that, so I can cut this. Now my column layout's like this. And what I can do here in my stack is I can add before. Now I could paste my hook/headline. So now all of a sudden, you have like some good customizations of what you want this to look like. So you've got a stack here. You've got your hook and headline across the whole page, and you've got just some customization for simple contrast. I could come in here and say, like, I want the background of my stack to be this blue color, but I want the background of my columns to be white. And now you can start to see how nice designs can be made. Oh, maybe I want some padding on my stack to push some things down a bit further. Maybe I want to make sure that this hook or headline is in my stack. So you can just drag it down. Sometimes it's a little annoying to get it in there, but you get the feedback when it works. Let me do this the other way. Add before. Now we're going to drag my hook and headline in like that. Okay, and so now this is a stack with a column layout. Really nice to add simple contrast here. You could add some extra paragraph text down here if you want for some extra copywriting. So you could add a paragraph, extra copywriting. And all of a sudden you can just see how easy it is to start to just design things the way you want it, changing some contrast wherever you want, and you've got some nice layouts. So that's the stack and column layout. And then the only other thing you really need is the odd time you want a grid for maybe some images or something. It's pretty straightforward, /grid. And you can control, do you want it to be auto? No, I actually want it manual. I want to always have 3 grid layouts. And then maybe I want to just put a little bar of my logo, for example, and I can duplicate and duplicate. What's going to happen with the grid layout is even when you shrink your page, the grid is going to stay. So these 3 things, you guys, basically all you need. You've got your stack, you've got columns that you could go all the way with 3 columns if you want, 4 columns. You can put the columns in the stack. You could put a grid, and you could put the grid in the stack also. So if I go to my grid and I want to drag my grid up into my stack, there it is like that. And then everything else from here is just playing around with properties. So my stack that I originally built, we could make it full width. Now it goes the full width. My columns, I could change its layout as well. I can customize each individual column if I want to all of a sudden have even more contrast. Here's an example. I could do black. I could do white. I could add some padding. And I could just add a simple little border. Let's go back to, and I could round my corners. You can just see how with just a couple of properties, you're able to adjust quite a few things. It's really intuitive once you get started, and nothing is cheaper. Do not get hosed on a website builder that's just going to be very similar to this, drag and drop. Even a website builder requires you to learn some skills. So this is just a simple way around block patterns. Once you build one that you really like, so you adjust this one, you pick good colors, you can take this whole stack, you can copy this stack, you could go to another page on your website, paste that stack, change the information, change the logo, change the CTA, and all of a sudden you're a pretty darn good web designer, all for dirt cheap. Last thing I want to show you here is that we could go back down here where we're going to just add a block. And I'm going to show you that every single full site editing theme has built-in blocks. So I could go with the plus, and we've got built-in block patterns. So I've got a bunch of CTA patterns, and you'll notice a lot of these look great. Like, look how good this one looks. If I just click this in and preload it, look how good this looks right off the get-go. You've got, again, your hook and headline built in. You've got a CTA built in. You've got this little personal touch. Maybe that doesn't work for how you want to use it. And you've got this kind of detail block here. So you can really quickly skip building your own, start from a pre-made template pattern. So let me show you another one that I like to use a lot. Let's go to the hero section. You can see how many there are, you guys. Pricing, so you get nice little pricing blocks that already build all these in, the columns and the CTAs, and then you can just delete out blocks really easily. But the one I really like is just these simple hero blocks. Like something like this is really easy to modify on your own. You'll notice this one's a little bit different because it's got usually like a cover. So this would be if you want to, let's go into my properties. So you can actually add an image in the background, and you can change around, the overlay. So you can now all of a sudden load in a background image, add an overlay, and customize just how nice that looks. You could change this image to maybe a featured product. You could move these buttons down. Again, notice how everything gets nested on the left. So maybe I want these buttons to be lower on the page. You can really quickly move things up. Oh, I want this image further up. It's going to move it up at the top. Okay? And that's basically it. Once you get in here, download a good theme. This is the Ollie theme, but all of them are good. Some are better than others. You can either build your block patterns by scratch. Again, simple is all you need. Do not tell me that your design is what gets a customer to come to you. It's actually going to be the clean design, easy to read, easy to navigate, and effective copywriting that's going to do the trick. You do not need these fancy designs, but if you want to, WordPress full site editing can do all those fancy designs for you as well. But you can go a long way just by using what I showed you and these pre-built ones. The last thing I'm going to show you here is if you want to add in some animations. So let's go back to my top, and instead of the normal headline, so I'm going to delete this, we are going to go add before. Now I'm going to use the Greenshift one, heading advanced. So this is where I can do my hook / headline, just like last time. But with the heading advanced, I can go into my advanced tab. I can drag and drop, add a really easy animation. Maybe we want it to flip up like that. Sure, I could come down here and do the same thing, or I could just delete this. I could now duplicate what I just did, and I could have some copywriting or maybe a subheading, and it's also going to be animated. So that's the beauty of Greenshift. Add before. Maybe we want some list copywriting. That's all good. And maybe for my simple branding, same deal. I'm going to add after. This time I'm going to use Image Advanced. That's the Greenshift plugin. I can load up the same image. Same deal. Properties are a little bit different because now this is from a plugin, but I can still change the size of that image. You could do a thumbnail, you could do something smaller. But again, now that it's the Greenshift image advanced, I can go and add an animation. So maybe I want this one to just fade in like that. Maybe I want to add a longer duration like that. And maybe I want to add a delay. So let's say 500 milliseconds. Now, if I save, let's actually view this page. You'll notice that my header and footer come in. I showed that in a different video. This is one of my sales funnels that I built where I help track and field teams manage the season. That's going to be a future video where I introduce that and explain how I did it. But again, let me just quickly refresh. And you see how the animations come in. So you can sync this up. Maybe you want as people to scroll down, everything, at least on your headings, could get animated. Your images could get animated. You don't want to get crazy on this. You don't need your whole page animated, but sometimes, a nice little CTA that's animated, a nice image that fades in, some text that comes from the left, that's all you need. And you can just see how easy it is to make nice little simple contrast that looks good. This is just that pre-built block. Look how good that looks. Another pre-built block. You come in, change the colors, change the copywriting, change a few properties. Next thing you know, you have a darn nice looking web page. Okay. Now, the thing that triggers me is that even people who charge $10,000 to build websites do not use this hook, story, offer template. It's so easy to follow. You really do want to have good hooks and headlines. You want to have good strategic copywriting. At least thinking about it is going to make it better than just posting a bunch of useless content. Okay, your website should not be a brochure. It should not just list your services. It should be strategically built with marketing in mind. The last thing I want to show you is that if you do need help with building a layout, I have got a free resource made for you at Chloris. Earlier video, I have shown you. Basically, I took Suby's landing page video. He's a YouTuber who markets quite a bit. And I built out a template. So here's an ideal layout. Here's his video you can watch. And he basically explains 17 steps, and I map them over the 6 key layouts that your landing page should have. There's a hero section, intrigue and problem, solution benefit, trust and authority, value stack, and basically I explain what should go in each section. So if you are wanting to build your own website, you can just follow this template. Each of these sections, this is why I like full site editing, you guys. The hero section is a block pattern. Pick a block pattern template or build your own. Decide what wording and logos and images you want to put in there. Put it in there and then design it up, add some contrast so that it looks good. Do not start with your design. Decide what you want to say, how you want to say it, and where you want to say it, and then design that block pattern separately. Then the next block pattern would be the intrigue and problem identification. So this would be to agitate or to really connect with that target audience on how you can help them. And so it says here you should have some bullet copy. You should have the problem agitation. So this would be a great place to add a couple of columns. Again, you could add another CTA, which would be to go to your store or to contact you or to go to your products and services. And you can just take this layout. Each of these will be a block pattern. And next thing you know, you have got a great website. It follows marketing best practices and it is dirt cheap. Okay. I use Hostinger. I use WordPress full site editor. I can literally build anything with WordPress full site editing. People complain about it all the time, but it's lightweight, it's quick, and it's where WordPress is heading. They are open source. WordPress is heading to this full site editing. It's getting better and better. And all you have to do is learn a couple of technical skills for the initial setup. Once you do it once, you can do it twice, much easier. And next thing you know, you can build out multiple websites, adjust your website, all for dirt cheap. Do not pay website builders. You're going to get hosed. Then next thing you know, you want to upgrade a marketing feature and they're going to charge you more money for that. Everything can be added to WordPress with a plugin and often for completely free. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for those of you who are on the fence about jumping into WordPress. I would just do WordPress full site editing. It's lightweight, it's quick, and with these built-in templates, you guys, you can make really nice designs really easily. My name is Josh, and always be grinding.